Deal TV, learn and earn.
So my name is Rose Mudhoni. I hope I'm loud enough. Yeah. My name is Rose Mudhoni. I'm the farm manager. We were initially known as Elite Dairies, but we changed our name in 2023. We rebranded because we brought pigs, so we couldn't be Elite Dairies. The Kenyan government does not allow you to brand yourself as a dairy if you have pigs inclusive. So now we are under an umbrella, Livestock Dynasty. Livestock Dynasty, we have Sanen Dairies, that is dairy goats. We have the Dog Dynasty, that's just for dogs. We do breeding and sell dogs. We have now Elite Dairies, which involves cows. Yeah, that's it. We have some poultry, but we don't do much of the poultry. It's basically for the employees, for consumption of the employees. We started in 2013, so we are 13 years in. Yes, we are 13 years in. We started 2013, but the farm started in 2011 as a small-scale farm. He just wanted to do it for his family, but in 2013, that's when he went commercial and started breeding commercially. So we've been breeders for 13 years. We specialize in breeding. We majorly do breeding. Breeding is where most of the money comes from, because milk only does the day-to-day operations. You can buy dairy feeds, you can purchase, you can pay salaries, but the major investment, if you want to buy a vehicle for the farm, if you want to, investment, if you want to buy machineries for the farm, that comes from the breeding. Breeding is more marketable here. Okay. So currently I have 1,026 cows, 1026 cows, that is the Elite Dairies. 1026 cows. 1,026 cows currently. Kuna birth leo? Oh, so we have 1028 cows. I'm not aware there was a birth. So we have 1028 as of today cows. We mainly do breeding. So I would say like 99% of my herd is females, the heifers, milkers, so females. But I have a few bulls. Most of our bulls are steer bulls, meaning we use them to make the females come on heat. We don't necessarily use them for breeding ourselves because we do AI, artificial insemination. What else? Yeah, so for the cows, we'll go as we move. We will be in groups. We will go speaking about them. I would advise, if you have any questions, we hold, not unless it's an urgent question, you hold till we go to a meeting so we can all ask all the questions, because you will find you have similar questions. So you'll rather spend more time taking pictures, seeing the cows, so you can have your questions. Not unless it's a really urgent question. I would advise you just take your time seeing the sheds, asking about maybe the structures and stuff. Then if it's about feeding, we'll go sit down, I discuss about feeding. If it's about insemination, we'll speak about that and other stuff. So this is my team. I'll start here. This is Maria. She's in charge of Sanen Dairies. She's the vet and the manager of the goats. So anything goat related. You've got goats as well? Goats and sheep. So she's in charge, Maria. Anything goat related, if you majorly came for the goats, I would advise you stick to Maria, but she is also equipped in all other fields. You can ask about cows, about pigs, that she will answer. Here we have Anthony. He's the head vet in charge. He's also the head vet in the cow department. So anything cows, anything health, anything feeding, he's equipped, but equally equipped in all other areas. Anything dogs, anything cows, pigs, equally equipped. This is John. He's the head in charge of pigs. He's the manager in the pigs department. So anything pigs related, John will be there to take you. But again, also equipped in all other fields, so don't have any doubt with him. So in the pigs department, we have not put the best biosecurity measures, so we don't take visitors to the pigs department. They are quite sensitive, but you'll see them at a distance, yes. So most times when a bull is sired, we slaughter it for the dogs because we fetch more money selling dogs for breeding. The cows, we group them according to age. Age you will see as we go, because if they are 14 months, you need to group them together so you can know when to serve them. If they are 2 months, you need to group them the same size so you can feed them. We group them according to breed, because Fresians and Ashers, they don't feed the same. If you feed an Asher or a Jersey as the same as a Fresian, it grows fat and does not conceive. Even if you serve it and it's too fat, the fat layer covers the ovaries and it does not conceive easily. So we group according to breed, because the way you'll feed an Asher, it's not the same way you'll feed a Jersey, it's not the same way you'll feed a Fresian. We group according to gestation. You will find cows that are 4 months in calf. Those are 5 to 6 in calf, 7 months in calf, because the need for feeding is different. A cow that's almost delivering, you will need to add salts of calcium, you will need copper, such salts towards the end that are not necessary during the first months. The first months you need magnesium and phosphorus most of the time, but pale mwisho, the end, you need a lot of calcium. So when it gives birth, it doesn't fall down because of milk fever. We also group according to need. Need means maybe it's sick. Of course, you will isolate. You will find we have some sick pens. We group according to milk production for the milkers. A cow that's producing 20 liters, a cow that's producing 10 liters, you can't put them together because feeding, you can't feed them equally and the production is not the same. So that is majorly how we group. So you'll find different, we call them paddocks, these small cages. You will know that is grouped according to a certain, either breed, either gestation, one of those categories. For example, here, these are my dry cows. They're still being milked. They're still being milked, but they're headed dry. So they are in calf like from 4, 5, 6, they're headed dry. You know, dry cows, I am meaning a cow that's giving birth for the second time, for the third time, for the fourth time. So you get, that's not the same as a in-calf heifer. Heifer is that one that's giving birth for the first time. Like those ones, you can see on the other side. Those ones are in-calf heifers, meaning it's their first pregnancy. But these ones, they are the second, third, fourth, and all of them are in-calf. But the milk production has gone slowly. And maybe before I forget, I might forget who can I sketch on their book. So, because I'll forget this point if I don't speak about it here. So, normally the graph of a good cow, most cows goes like this. This is time, and this is production. My handwriting is, I'm shaky kidogo, but you get it. This is production and this is time. So, if a cow gives birth today, and you milk it like now, you can't tell if that cow is a 30-liter producing cow or it's a 40-liter producing cow. If you go to a farmer and he tells you this one gave birth and it's producing 40 liters, that's a liar from the word go. He can't give birth yesterday and immediately you know what it's producing. Because why? The hormones have not yet regulated. It's still under stress. Maybe it tripped when it was giving birth. It's still under postpartum stress. So the postpartum stress curve for a cow, some go 1 week, some go 2 weeks, some go 3 weeks, if it was really hurt during calving. But if calving was easy, I don't know if you've seen when people are selling semen, okay, I'm speaking too much, and we're already at stage 1. So when you're buying semen from a good company, you'll find they have said calving is somewhere in their graph. That is telling you how easy is it for, if you give your cow, how easily will it calve, and it's really something most farmers you don't take to consideration. If you find they have told you 49%, that tells you could have a problem giving birth, could not. 50-50 you get. If they tell you 70%, means 30% likely might have a problem giving birth. Maybe this semen they're selling to you, they already know it's too big. for a normal standard cow. You know, the breeding in Germany, they have very big calves. So if they tell you this cow will have a 60% chances of calving is, meaning ikikuja kuzaa kwako might have a problem, the 40%. So you look for one that's 80% and the 20% could have a problem. Maybe the kid won't come the right way, but it's something you can deal with. So you have to have a cow, you have to select semen that has an easy calving ease, because that will determine your postpartum depression. If your cow has stress when giving birth, now the period since giving birth and producing milk might take too long. You find a month, but this cow has not released milk as it should. So that was by the way. So there may be most times a good cow within the first 7 days should have given you this one first 7 days. This is the colostrum. By the time this colostrum is becoming clear, now this cow should have gone back to its full production. If this is a 20 producing liter cow, you should not wait at 2 months to achieve the 20 liters. By the 7th day, you should already have told, hey, this cow, how much milk am I milking? There is no way after 7 days and it does not have stress, it gave birth easily, it has recovered well and you're feeding it well, and still it's giving you 5 liters and you're still hopeful it will get to 40. There is no way. You will already have told, do I have a good cow, Ama? You get. So after 7 days, the colostrum, we don't measure every day. We don't calculate how much production for the first 7 days. Here it goes to 11 days for some cows, because the colostrum you can sell to the farmers, to the shop when it's still colostrum. So you check the colostrum period. If the milk is still yellow, you can't put it. But when it's clear, now you start measuring how much production this cow is giving us. So you'll come find me and ask me, Rose, how do you know cow number 202 has a production of 24 liters? Why are you telling me cow number 202 has a production of 33 liters? So this is why you will know when I'm taking the data. I take the data. Most cows here is from the 9th day. That's when I'll start taking the data till the 30th. Yes, 9 days since giving birth now. Till the 30th day, 21 days. I have people here that are data collectors. I have 2 guys that every day when it's been milked, you will find them with a scale where the cows are giving birth. So those 21 days, I'll take the average. If this cow is a 30 producing cow, the average should be 30. If it's a 40 producing cow, the average should be 40. If it's a 20 producing cow, that is going to be your average. So as you will add up the 21 days, then divide, you find what your average is higher. So let's say, for example, your cow is a 30 producing liter. The production here is 30. This is 0, 10, 20. If it's a 30 producing cow, you will find it. Now I have a system for that. I'll put the record there and give it that 4 liters, that 7 liters, whatever my average was. That if it's a good cow, you're feeding it well every day, the same time, the same feeds, nothing much is changing. See, dairy, whatever we do, whatever you fed yesterday, you don't keep changing. If you gave 2 kgs of feeds, don't keep changing, so you can know what's going wrong with your cow. That production should be constant for a period of 2 months, if that's a good cow. If this production, okay, this cow gave you 30 liters, but after 1 month, the production went down immediately. That's not a good cow. So you have a 30 producing cow, but how long can it sustain to produce the 30 liters? If it's a 20 producing cow and you're still paying, you know your employee, if you're paying 30,000, you won't say, this cow has poor production, let my salary be reduced. Those factors don't. You get what I'm saying? If it's the feeds, if you are buying at 1,000, they won't say, your cow is producing less, let me price it. Let me price it poorer. You get what I'm saying? Yep. So if it's a 30 producing cow, that should at least for 2 months constantly. Some cows here sustain that for 3 months, for 4 months. That's a perfect cow, because now the production is very okay. Higher. The hormone that's responsible for milk letdown is called oxytocin. Okay? Oxytocin. So this is the hormone that is responsible for milk letdown. You will find your cow is not releasing milk, and the veterinary comes, he injects this hormone and it starts releasing milk. Have you seen such a thing? Here in Gedongori, you've been to Gedongori? some brokers, and be careful of them. What they do, when they know you're coming to buy the cow, they inject the hormone. So the cow will produce, and they milk when you're seeing, so you're impressed. Oh my God, this is a 40 producing, but this is a hormone. It's not being released by the body. They are doing it artificially. So it can't sustain that for long, not unless you keep injecting it. It's quite expensive to do that. So this hormone, where the one that is responsible for pregnancy is called prolactin. Something like that, prolactin. I'm not spelling it right. So when it gives, the cow gives birth, the prolactin goes down, the oxytocin goes up. So that's when the production goes up. But now when your cow, it's 30 days since giving birth, it comes on heat. This hormone prolactin comes back to the body. Maybe after 1 month it comes on heat. Maybe after 2 months it comes on heat. Now the milk production will start immediately going down. Immediately, the moment your cow starts, it gave birth, it comes on heat. After if it's 14 days since since calving, now your milk production automatically will go down. Can't go from 30 to 20 at once. Will be 29 today, 27 tomorrow. Now it starts going down. If it's a good cow, make sure you serve it. If it's a month after calving, because if you miss that mark, the milk production will go down and you'll still have no production. So higher. Now a very good cow, it gave birth. Now 4 months since calving, since the last calving, you already served it maybe at the 3rd month, okay? Now at the 4th month, it's 1 month pregnant. Are we going together? Higher. By the time it's 5 months since the last calving, it will be 2 months. If it's 6 months, now 3 months in calf. 7 months, it will be 4 months. So it will be going dry, but still the other pregnancy it's growing. So that's how you get a perfect drying cycle. The cow is 7 months and you're drying it well. Because if you check, if it's 7 months and it's dry, maybe you served it the 2nd month since the last calving. If it's a poor cow, it gave birth, but it's 7 months since it calved and you've not served it. So the milk production, number 1, went down and it's not pregnant. Nimeongea sana. But if I missed that here, I will not remember it. So that I brought that up so you can understand the drying cycle. When I tell you we have dry cows, they calved, they're still being milked, but the milk production is less, but at least they're pregnant. But they are poor cows, it's dry and it's not pregnant. So that's a loss. You'll rather cull it. Here we don't keep it.
Oh.
Yes?
What could be the density, the area versus the density of the cow for each case?
So per bed it's 6 by 4. The normal mattress 6 by 4. So per cage you will find maybe it has 30 beds. You will put 28 cows. You leave 2 empty beds. Umelewa? So these sheds are not the same. Some are smaller, some are bigger. So can't specifically tell you to keep this. Just ensure per cow gets its space for sleeping. If you have 10 spaces, put 8 cows. You leave 2. In case one doesn't get where to sleep, it will find somewhere else.
The other one is 4 by 3?
6 by 4. 6 by 4. I don't know how they measure it, but it's a normal mattress. Yes? It's okay. Pregnant. So they be... but they already fed. We feed twice a day.
What is this grass?
This is Boma Road, but not pure Boma Road. It's mixed between Kikuyu grass and Boma Road. Boma Road is the best,
Proris,
but it's... Sorry?
Proris.
Roads.
Proris, Guyana. Boma Road.
Boma Road. Oh. And then we have some local grass. It's called Kikuyu grass. So we mix the 2 of them to feed, because if you do Boma Road alone, it's quite expensive.
The height, is it standard or you can...
No. Now, as I said, we did this 16 years ago, was this height. But now this we restructured just this month. So you see, we've shot higher. So the higher, the more the iron sheets does not corrode easily. This distance is too small because now the too much heat and the urea, the acidity in the nini, you'll find these iron sheets will corrode faster than those. But the cost of lifting the entire thing was quite expensive. So we lifted some regions. You'll find some areas where it's really hot. We we lifted up. Yes. Yes.
When do you after how many lactations? When do you to cull these cows?
Normally, if it's a perfect cow, we cull from 5 to 6. The 5th calving, the 6th, we can easily let it go.
Okay. Even if it's still giving.
No, if it's like there, I have a 7. I have a cow that's 7. It's its 7th time. It's still a perfect cow. So we've still not eliminated it. But any cow from the 5th calving, 6th calving, if you don't let it go early, it becomes a problem. It becomes sick easily and other problems. Yes. Oh. I said these are my in-calf heifers. So this is where I sell a lot. If you're looking for a perfect cow, this is where I sell. Most of our heifers we serve with sexed semen, so I'm guaranteeing you, if you're buying a female, you're buying 2. You get, because it's in calf. These ones we serve our Fresians when they are from 14 to 15 months, but we check for the kgs. Kgs has to be above 250 kgs, so I serve. No, even if it comes to 14 months and it's not 250 kgs, I don't serve it. So kgs, weight matters and age matters. Yes.
I just have it then.
They already fed. They started feeding at 6.
At 6.
By 10, they should be asleep. You're here. You will find the cows quiet. People don't even know this is a farm with so many cows. When you pass here, it's quiet at 10. After 10, see, my people have taken breakfast. They are not allowed in the shade still. Gioni, the only person allowed, it's me and the veterinaries. Because too much movement, the cows won't sleep. By now, they should be asleep. But now, since they are seeing a lot of movements, you will find them, yes.
And what would be
cows
the...
do you have?
Oh, I didn't mention. I said Fresians, I said Ashers, Red Fresians, I have Jerseys, I have Ganses, I have Brown Swiss, I have one Sahiwal, so I don't know if it counts.
What's the approximate price for the in-calf heifer?
Between 280,000 to 350 Kenya shillings. These are also dry cows. This one gives birth to twins. We are hoping she's having twins again. She has given us 2 sets of twins. This is her 3rd calving. Wow. We are really hoping it's another set. Yeah. These are another dry cows. Most of the money comes from selling dry and in-calf. These are in-calf heifers. Yeah.
Back at home, we are discouraged from using mats that they cause mastitis.
Not really. We clean our mats once a month using Magadi. That's
Using
it.
Magadi, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. What do you use? Sawdust?
Some put sawdust in the sacks.
Sawdust is quite expensive here.
Even in terms of maintenance.
It's quite expensive. Mattresses, you just sweep.
You sweep.
You sweep, we sweep. It can't be so clean. We use Magadi, especially for those that are being milked, but like heifers, we don't clean oftenly. We have mastitis, but how do we deal with mastitis? Number 1, there are penalties, because why would you have a cow that has mastitis in your shed? The penalties are quite expensive. So the person milking, yes, is purely to pay for the veterinary charges, and it's quite expensive. Between 2,000 and 3,000, that alone makes them to be keen. Because personally, I believe mastitis is brought by lack of someone being peer. You have to be keen. If you milk, before you put the machine, because you use machines, you have to strip. Stripping is milking using your hands, and you put them in their palm. If you notice just small clots, you tell the veterinary to come. But mastitis, severe mastitis, where the udder is inflamed, no, I expel you, because how will you let a cow? Means you didn't milk complete. You didn't complete, you didn't clean. Also, we have a disinfectant we put in the cleaning. When they're cleaning the udders, there's a disinfectant we put. It's called Mastrate. I'm sure you can buy it in. You've seen that. I believe in Mastrate. If you're using Mastrate, you reduce your cases by 70%. We started using Mastrate in 2019, and it has been a game changer. And sasa cleanliness, if you're the one cleaning this shed and it's been milked and I find mastitis, I penalize the cleaner and I penalize the milker. So that alone, penalties, I believe in penalties, because if you're irresponsible, then we will have a problem with. So those two work, penalize and mastrate.
Do you deliver?
What? Cows?
Yes, if someone buys.
No. Nani does a good job. What's his name? He does a good job. Yeah. He does a good job. We have sheds like this one. These are, all cows can't be good. Cindy, you have to have 6 cows. So this one's I'm culling them. I'm going to sell to the butchers. So now this you can't price them. So this ones they gave birth, the milk production was below 15 liters. I can't keep such a cow. So now this is more of fattening and expelling. Now Mzee will come in the morning and say I need 1 million. No. The first cows I'll come dispose of this. Because Mzee says why he kept this business, it's not like a hardware that you want 1 million and you can dispose. But when you have cows, you have a problem with raising capital quick, call brokers, call butchers, you will easily sell your cows. So that is the main goal for this company. So these ones have been fattened for sale. Sorry? I'll show you, we have a cattle dip. We don't have a problem with how do you say it? Sticks and stuff. It's zero grazing. You don't have. We do thrice in a year, so every 4 months. But just a routine practice, not for. I'll show you. Hi. This is where we keep our calves. Calves after 1 month. I'll show you where I put my newborns. These are 1 month. Yes, it has to be 1+. Then comes here, stays from 1 month to 2 months. If they are the calving, when we are not siring a lot of calves, could stay here for 3 months. But when we have a lot of cows that are calving, we push them. So I'll show you where we put our newborns. It's on the other side. I'll show you. So this is where we put our calves. Here.
So from which
from 1 month to 2 months, should be for a full month here. But sometimes if it's growing slowly, you have to let it stay here longer. We used to have pellets, but we are having a problem with the suppliers. So currently I'm not doing pellets. All we are doing, we have a formulation for the really sick, for the really young calves, which is a lot of protein, a lot of sunflower, and kidogo maize jam from your side, Ugandan maize jam, the fermented. So we are putting just a handful per calf. That's it. Not fermented, it's chachus, but it's maize jam. So we give just a handful. I'll show you. And milk. We feed rice. Milk we feed 2 liters 3 times a day.
This dairy section, it is seated on how?
5.4.
5.4.
Yes.
Acres.
Yes.
Rose, you talked about that you feed them a dairy meal and maize jam. Okay, you see,
we formulate our own maize jam. So it only has a salt kidogo, which is calcium and phosphorus. The only salt we give the really young ones is DCP, calcium and phosphorus. And then we do protein, which is sunflower currently. And we do maize jam, just those 3 things we mix and give. We also have a special salt that's called Vital Ndama. I don't know if you have it in your area, but it's a company that's doing well. It's called Vital Ndama. We mix it in the milk. That's it, nothing else we give to the calves. Then they're introduced to hay, so they can, what happens when a calf is born, it's born with 1 stomach. See, a cow has 4 stomachs. So it's born with 1 stomach, which is called the true stomach. But after a time, the stomachs, they start forming. So when you introduce hay, what happens, the first stomach, which is the rumen, it has the small projections. You've seen a cow that has been slaughtered. So it's a good dairy cow. The projections should be long because they take the nutrients from the grass, from whatever it's taking, and converting it to milk. So the earlier you introduce the hay, the rough nini, it goes and scratches the first stomach, then the protrusions become long. The rumen grows only from the 1st month to the 4th month. After that, it doesn't do a lot of growing. You get what I'm saying? So you have to introduce the hay to assist, to facilitate that movement in the stomach that helps to build the small ruminants. I'm forgetting the name. Any dry matter. If you feed wet matter, doesn't do well with the grinding in the stomach when it's rolling. Yes.
These are strictly for milk because there is no provision for water here.
No, they are given water twice a day. We don't put provision for water because we used to have that, but they used to diarrhea blood. I know you've seen that with calves. When they can't regulate for themselves water, they overconsume water and then you have a problem with the bloody diarrhea. Here it's very deadly because they die. If it's not well contained, and also it's spread by flies, the bloody diarrhea. So you could have a sick one with bloody diarrhea here, and the other one knows how to regulate water. But the moment the houseflies goes to that, where it goes to drink water, and it excretes there, you bring another problem. So that's why you'll find we don't have that provision at your sufuria here with water. You won't find buckets here with water because we had a problem with flies. So you're doing everything well, but these flies, they go to that bucket, they bring contamination, so that's why we removed that provision.
And after being born, when do you start giving them water?
After 1 month. There we don't give water. Less than a month we don't, but here it's when we start giving water. We give at the water bucket. Here it's bucket. Bottle feeding is only the newborns under 11 days. Here we feed rice.
You give them water in the bucket?
You'll see a container too. 2 liters of water. Water. You're asking water, we give 2 liters twice a day, but the calf does not have to complete the 2 liters. If it just drinks one, it's okay. Some calves don't take water like that. The milk here when they are this stage, sometimes we lack milk replacer. Like currently there is a shortage of milk replacer from the suppliers, so we are giving fresh milk. This fresh milk is expensive because it's the milk we are milking from the mothers, and we'll rather sell it to the shop. So currently I'm not feeding as I should. I should be giving 2 liters, 2 liters, 2 liters twice a day, but currently I'm doing 2 liters, 1 liter, 2 liters. That's 5 liters instead of 6.
In the morning, 1 liter, in the afternoon, then
2 in the evening. But it should be feeding 6 here. But now, because I don't have milk replacer, I can't give it my milk cost. That is the tank we warm our milk. Yeah, we warm our water because the milk from the factory is cold. Oh, they have already moved. This is where we warm the water. Number 1, for disinfecting the containers, the ones we use to feed. So the bottle feeding, the ones the newborns, currently she's washing them, but from 11 I should find the bottles here boiling. From 11 to 3 p.m. boil purely the bottle feeding. Because of contamination, we ensure it's disinfected with hot water. Nugget. Also, these containers we wash using the hot water. Other than that, the milk that comes from the factory is cold, so you have to warm it to between 25 to 36 degrees, so you feed the calves. The warmer the milk, the less the cases of diarrhea. The colder the milk, the more cases of diarrhea. Yes?
What do you recommend? The milk from the factory or the milk from the mothers?
It only takes the milk from the mother for the first 9 days, the colostrum. After there, it should be under milk replacer. But currently, for the last 2 months, we've been looking for milk replacer. It's not available because it's imported. I don't know, there is an issue with bringing the products here. So we don't give fresh milk. Now, currently is when we are doing fresh milk, but we should be doing milk replacer. Milk replacer is powdered. I know you know it. It's powdered, then you dilute with warm water. That's cheaper than giving fresh milk. You'll rather sell the fresh milk and buy milk replacer. Another reason milk replacer is better, it's balanced. You know, it's manufactured in the companies, so it has the right amount of protein, right amount of vitamins and stuff. It's well balanced. Also, it's not contaminated. What happens, see, these people have milked, they have taken it to the factory. You will find cross-contamination from the can, from the... So you find the milk is from the factory, but you know it's not boiled, it's just raw milk. So you will find maybe if the person milking did not communicate and say, and by the way, I have a sick cow that was under treatment, now you feed these antibiotics to your calves. So that's why we don't necessarily prefer milk straight from our factories, yes?
Yeah, back at home, we milk price, okay? And we always feed calf like 3 liters in the morning, then 3 in the afternoon. But I've had a challenge with my workers. They told me that every time when they give them 3 liters in the morning, they develop a lymph nodes, like a swelling. Yeah, that's too much milk, and they decided to reduce the milk and to like 2 liters. But I look at the cows and now emaciated. The cows.
That's not even, I don't think that's scientifically right. I've never heard of that. But I know if you're doing poor feeding I mean the form, how do you say it? The way you use bottles. You have to put it up because of the way the guts. If you feed it like chini, it has now that, but it can't cause swelling. What happens when you feed it low, the gut does not process it. The pH is not well balanced. Now you'll have diarrhea. But if you're feeding, I'll show you behind there, you have to have it raised, not nini. But the ones that are big, the 1 month old, they just do bucket. But if it's a sick cow, you can't feed using bucket because it might inhale and you find it in the lungs. So we avoid. I don't have the nini here. This is what we use to measure the 2 liters of milk per calf. It's just a bottle that has been cut. We see pigs, then we move this way.
And if you have too much colostrum, is there any provision for preserving that colostrum so that you keep on feeding the babies?
Good question. So here in Kenya, colostrum is marketable. We sell the colostrum to companies that make soap. You've seen those companies that tell you this soap is made of colostrum, very good soaps. It's 200 a liter, which is quite expensive. So for us, the excess, see, I'm telling you, it's only feeding 2 liters, 2 liters, 2 liters of the colostrum. So that's 6. You'll find a cow has a colostrum of 24 liters, 28 liters. So the excess we sell daily to a company that it makes probiotics and it makes soap. It's based here in Thika. So I'll show you the other side. There is a place we skipped hapa kwa pigs, but we'll when we are done, I'll show you how we'll move. So for pigs, we started pigs in 2023. So this is going to be our 3rd year in May. It's doing quite good. Most of the Kenyans now are moving from the red meat to white meat. Most Kenyans are now moving from the red meat to the white meat. So currently, there has been a lot of movement of people refusing to eat beef. They are preferring pork. So currently, we are doing really well with pork. Like currently in the morning, I took 100 baconers to Farmer's Choice, where the smokies come from, and it's doing well. It's doing, if there is a business I'm proud of, is this one. At least the returns are better than the cows. The cows, the market is not doing well. Everyone is complaining. There is no cash flow. When there is no cash flow, no one is buying cows. You know that. But meat, the pork, we can easily dispose.
It means, Rose, where I'm seeing now, it's better to do 3 in 1.
Yes.
The cows,
there is,
they are not selling.
You do something else.
The farm can survive. The pigs is not selling.
You do
go
goats.
to goats.
That is what happened.
You go to chicken.
That is what happened. That's why we brought pigs. The market was quite dormant for the cows, and we needed something. You know, pigs, the return is 6 months, you're ready. If I serve a cow today and I serve a pig today, I'll sell the piglets to the market when this cow is giving birth the same time. You get? Because now the gestation for a pig is 3 months, 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 days. For a cow, it's 9 months. Before the 9 months, now this piglet, when it's at 6 months, it's already in the market. So you'll rather do pig currently, unfortunately. But sometimes the cows, they favor us because now the profit margin for a cow is better than that of a pig. But now when we are doing mass production, currently I have 3,200 pigs. So it's quite a production. We are building a slaughterhouse, I'll show you. So by the time you come in 2 months, we'll already be processing our own pigs.
How do you manage the order?
Oh, that's farrowing. I don't know if I mentioned, here in maternity for pigs. So in there, it's mothers and piglets. Then after there, now we go to the market. The empty houses, I've sold them. I've sold pigs. There are so many pigs. It's doing quite well. Yeah.
How often do you sell these piglets? Because I see there are so many pigs, and I believe
The goal is 100 to 200 per month.
100 piglets.
Today I've already done 100, so I'm already, this month I might do 170. What is left there is around 60, 70 pigs.
So the goal is to dispose of like 170 piglets every month.
Some months I do 200. 200? Doing quite well. Yani pigs, you'll just be happy. Lakini na wewe, you have to have cash flow to feed. Then the returns.
What do you feed? Do you feed silage here?
No. Silage is currently quite expensive. You will find us doing silage when it's in season. In season is when everyone has planted maize and everything is cheap. But currently silage is going for around 30 bob per kg. That's quite expensive. And the returns are not as much. People believe silage will make you cow pour milk ridiculously. Dairy meal is the solution. So currently just dairy meal and hay.
How many kilograms do you do?
So per group, different feeding. Maybe when I cover feeding, I give you the breakdown.
Now for your milkers, like how many kilograms do you?
For a cow between 0 to 10 kgs, you should be feeding 2 kgs of dairy meal. For a cow between 20 to 30 kgs, between 2.5 and 3 kgs. Currently, dairy meal is too expensive, so I went down to 2.5, but I should be doing 3, between 20 to 30, but now I'm doing 2.5 because the cost is quite expensive. Cow above 30 kgs, between 3 kgs to 4, but currently I'm doing 3 kgs. Any cow above 30 kgs, it's been milked thrice. That means it's 3, that's 9 kgs of dairy meal per day. Cows below 30 kgs, they have been milked twice. So if I said 2.5, it's 2.5 in the morning, 2.5 in the evening, 5 kgs. Okay?
How many liters of milk do you get per cow?
The average currently, the average is 16, which I find misleading because now I have some cows doing 40, I have some cows doing 42, 38, 33, so could be misleading. I prefer that figure is quite misleading because if I tell you 16, you'll assume all cows are above 16 or all cows are at 16, but it's quite misleading because now I'm milking 261 milkers, so maybe that average could not tell you exactly what I'm telling you. These are bulls. We use them as sana ni teasers. We open. The problem with these two, they are fighting, so we don't oftenly open for them. But normally, you will find a bull circulating in the shade because with the numbers we have, if you don't have a bull that can detect heat, I might be here the whole time and not know a cow that has silent heat. So you let the bull roam around, it will go exactly where there is a cow on heat. Yes, they are silent. This one will fight you. Be careful. You see what it did in the morning.
So this sale on these bulls, the young one?
Yes. How much? The ones on sale are on the other side. These ones, like these two, we want them to go to the show. So we are feeding them for the show. Yeah.
Why dry grass most of the time?
Because of storage. If you had wet stuff, storage is a problem, mold.
Meaning, can I always feed only dry grass?
As we have nothing else, just maybe.
In this grass?
Sorry?
Is there anything you mix in this grass?
No. He has already fed dairy meal. Then you will find hay. But currently you found the Napier. We have small farms in different areas. We go chop, but not sustainable. You find it maybe once a month. That's when we have the Napier. We don't purchase Napier because storage is a problem.
Level of the cow.
Sorry?
You sell every level of the cows?
No. We sell in-calf heifers and dry cows. Sana sana.
I want the milking one.
They don't sell.
No.
Because of the money circulation, yeah?
A cow should get in feeds 30 kg per day, right?
That's too much. Hey, that's expensive.
They say the 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening.
That's nine.
I'm reading on Google 30 kg somewhere.
That's
9
expensive. Higher because
Where will you get that food?
if I said no for the bulls only feed 6 kgs of dairy meal. 6, 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening, and
How
then
many times do you feed them with hay?
twice. If you're feeding twice. For the bulls, one bull should be feeding between 5 kgs to 7 kgs of hay per feeding. So you can imagine that's maybe 10 plus 6, 16. The cow that's feeding the most hay is around 20 kgs, both grass and dairy meal. We move, so I'll speak there till you get bored.
Why don't you sell the milking cow?
Because of the money circulation. One milker supports 4 non-milkers. So if you carry that one, even if you're buying at 200, you leave me with a deficit for 4 cows.
7 to 8 months is how much?
Between 280 to 350,000.
280
to 350.
Oh, against the bull.
Red Frisian. This one,
okay.
Red Frisian. Yeah. This is a Jersey. This is a sick pen. So that's why you'll find them mixed, but we don't mix our breeds. You will find the Ashers alone, the Frisians alone.
Which is the best?
In terms of production, Frisians are beatable, yeah.
What is your highest milking?
That's the cow dip, sorry. That's the cow dip. Yeah, this is the cow dip. This we just do it for fun. We don't have any pests that require cow dip in here. We do it for fun. Currently, we dipped last month. I've not changed the water yet. Come out. Asa kedore. Wadumira message kana WhatsApp. Haya, wekira biasi kana.
You were talking about the in-calf heifers, 7 to 8 months. Goes how much?
Between 280 to 350 Kenya shillings. This is a Gansi, but the mother was a Sahiwal, but was given Gansi. No. This is a Flakevy. This is a Jersey. That's a Nasha. Mostly are Gansis.
How do you manage your insemination?
The black has turned to brownish. Okay, yeah.
Maybe because of nutrients, Ama. See why we don't feed iron. Another thing about wet feeds is if you think about it in terms of money, if you buy silage, you buy it maybe a kg of silage. But whatever you feed your cow, 30% is water. So okay, you bought 1 kg, but what value for your money from the silage? 30% is lost in water. So you think maybe you fed 5 kgs, but what has benefited the cow, the water will just be released from as urine, as sweat. Now that does not count. That's why we stopped feeding silage. We used to buy 10 tons. We store it in the silos. Okay. When you store it in the silage as silage form, you bought 10 tons a truck. Yeah. But when you go to feed it, you find it's 7 tons. So you bought per kg, remember? You paid every kg, but what you end up getting is 70% of that. So that's why we discourage wet feeds.
What about the issue of cleaning?
We clean thrice a day, in the morning, in the evening, and in the evening. Thrice a day.
What assurance can you give me on the in-calf heifers on the production rate?
We have records for that. So we have a system that generates automatically. If I tell you this is cow A088, the records from the mother, the records from the semen I gave will generate the figure for production. That's a flake V. That's a flake V. Flake V. Let's go there. These are bulls. We are fattening them. These are young bulls. We are going to fatten them, sell them for meat. We don't keep bulls. I'll repeat that. Any bull born and we see the mother does not have the right formation in terms of acquiring weight, we eliminate it at birth. So if you find a bull here, it's quite a good breed. This is a Flake V. At birth, yes. These are young calves. We won't go there because it's sensitive. These are young calves. We can't go there because it's quite sensitive for the young calves. Flake V. Flake V. View, any. He's calm. This one is not the worst of them. So, yeah.
You said goats?
Sorry? Yeah, we are going to goats now. So, as I said, Livestock Dynasty is the umbrella. The goat department is called Sanen. Sanen Dairy. Sanen is a dairy breed goat. It's the white goat. So the name comes from that goat. But we have other goats. We have Toggenburg, these grey ones. We have German Alpine, the brown ones. We have British Alpines, the black ones. We have, these are the local goats, these Kienyeji, these are the mixtures. The ones with the patches, the local goats. Those ones, they're not really good dairy breeds. We use them for meat. Here, most of the employees, they live in the farm to avoid bringing diseases from outside. So it's really dusty. We avoid letting our employees roam around. You know, they can visit other farms and bring diseases. So if you're dealing with a sensitive area like milking, like the goats department, you can't live outside. You have to stay inside. So we feed them goats and pigs, yeah?
How do you deal with the heat?
We open the windows. Heat is good for the goats because pneumonia is a problem here. So that's why the roof is lower. Otherwise, if we wanted it to be more ventilated, the roof will be higher. But the roof is moderate, so we keep it warm. Sorry? Only hay and dairy meal, nothing else. Dairy meal.
Meaning dairy meal is very important.
If you get dairy meal right, you're doing well.
You sell these goats?
Yes.
How much?
Between 30,000 to 50. That's the range.
How do you clean it?
Here we don't clean. Here we don't sweep. People, it's a place you can stand and sweep like this.
Down there.
It's 6 feet high. Yeah, you just stand and sweep. We do that weekly.
You have to make sure that
6 feet. Number one for ventilation, because now there is good, because of the urea, you ensure it's well ventilated. Down there are doors that bring air from below.
Here, the kegi you are giving them daily?
Sorry?
The kegi you are giving them daily, do you measure?
Yes. It's just a handful. It's just a handful. For goats, it's just a handful. Okay, my hand is small, but a man's handful.
For how many?
Per goat. So if there are 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So an average per goat is feeding 250 grams to 300 grams. Yeah. Yes. Between 250 to 300. The really young ones, 70, 80. Yeah.
This one is
The mother is. They circle for a month. They circle for a month, then we separate. Because if it keeps circling, the mother won't come on heat. So we just let them circle for a month, then we this one has aborted.
Which type is this one?
This is the Hampshire. Hampshire. No. Patrick. This one has aborted. Let me take this dead kid. This is an abortion.
Now, how do you know that this one is the one that has aborted?
I know it. He was sick yesterday. It's the drug we use Dexajet, which is not a good. It causes abortion, but he was really sick. He had high fever.
Can it survive in a warmer area?
Ruru is quite hot. Here is quite hot.
What's the name of the breed?
This is Merino. This is Hampshire. That is the black sheep. We have dopers there. This is called California Red. Dopers are the most popular here because of traditions, the dowry negotiations. This one is what is most popular here. This is called Anglo-Nubian. Anglo-Nubian, the long ears. Anglo-Nubian. Yes. Anglo-Nubian. Anglo then Nubian. And the long ears.
They are like their long legs, like a desert salmon.
Yes.
This
breed.
This is Anglo-Nubia.
Can it give milk?
Yes, very good. It's a dual purpose. Good for meat, good for milk.
And with the disease?
Goats are not easily. The Sannens are the most sensitive. This is British Alpine.
British?
Alpine, the black one. Then there's a brown one, German Alpine. Alpines are two, British and German Alpines. But now Kenya has been doing a lot of breeding. We also have Kenyan Alpine, which is a mixture of British and German. Even in the Google you can find Kenya Alpines. Nubians, they are not on sale currently. These are Toggenburgs, those are Sannens. Yeah, at the end of it. I have two, but they're on the other side. And we brought them recently. This is Damara. Damara sheep. Damara. Damara. The Boer goats. We, ile hamsha kuna imea boat. Nimeka katoto pale mwisho. Umekaona? Unaona pale kwa hamsha? Hapo mwisho kanaka vibaya kaondoe. Imea boat. This is Sannen, German Alpine. Sannens range between 40 to 50,000. Sila
20 to 40.
40 to 50. This is where we fatten bulls.
The name?
This is a Brahman. Brahman, that's a flake V. This is a Jersey. Not really. This is a Jersey. No, we don't have Girardeau here. Flake V's. These are for fattening. Purely fattening. Yes, they eat. These ones were the ones that were not sex semen. Now we are fattening them. Now most here are 2 years, 3 years. So you see if you're doing, zero grazing before you get money, value for money, it takes long.
Yeah.
Because now if this, for example, this one is a 2-year-old, the cost of feeding it to get to that and whatever butchers are willing to pay does not always match.
Yeah.
So sometimes we just feed them. We have parties here for the employees. You find Mzee says we eat.
Okay.
Ama he sells to ceremonies. You're doing a wedding, you want to buy a fat bull. Yeah. But selling to butchers sometimes is quite a loss. Hiya. I'll start by mentioning sources. Can you hear me? I'll start by mentioning sources of each category. Then we go back to breaking down the ratios, okay? So majorly to have a dairy mill, now that's my profession. My area of study is production of animal feeds, of people feeds. If it's yogurt, I can do that. But now majorly I do animal production. So trust me on this. So for production of any dairy mill, you need energy. You need protein, you need salts, and then you need supplements. Okay? So you need energy, you need protein, you need salts and supplements. The same way you're told if you want a balanced diet for your body, you need to have a source of energy, you need to have a source of vitamin, you need to have a source of protein, such and such. For animals, it's energy, protein, supplements, and salts. All animals. Higher. So for energy, we'll name types of energies we have. We have maize germ, maize germ, maize then GEM, maize germ. Maize germ is broken down to two parts. There is fermented and non-fermented. What makes maize germ to be called fermented and another one is called non-fermented? The fermented one, the yellow, the embryo. So you know the yellow thing in the maize that has protein? The maize, you know how maize looks like. So the yellow portion in the maize, that's the embryo, that's rich in protein and fats, is not removed, it's not degermed. Yani, haijatolewa, it's not yet removed. So the maize millers that do fermented maize, they mill the entire maize without removing the embryo. But the one that's non-fermented, the companies that do oil from maize seeds. See, there is oil for cooking, you see it's made from maize. You've seen that, like Elianto. Do you know Elianto? They source the fat from that embryo. They degerm it, they get the protein, the fat from that small sack, and then they mill the rest of the maize. So that's why you find there is grade 1 maize meal, there is grade 2 maize meal, grade 3. That is what differentiates this category. So I've said there is fermented and non-fermented. The fermented one, the one that we get a lot from Uganda, it has both energy and protein. Now that's fermented. And it ferments because of the fats in the maize. Over time they oxidize, it becomes fermented, okay? We have maize bran. Maize bran is basically the outer cotyledon, the dried thing of the maize. And also some, they mill the, how do you say it, the maize comb. The maize comb is milled and made to maize bran. Maize bran is a bit rough kiasi. And then we have Poland. It's also another type of Poland. Depends on different companies. So the companies that supply us, they have to give us their certificate of authentication. Some companies, the maize bran, the energy is 56, others 64, depends on their milling process. So they don't go hand in hand, but the best millers are from Uganda. I might not tell you the perfect ratios because we don't do it, we buy straight from millers. We have Poland. Poland could be maize Poland, wheat Poland. Poland is just the finest of it. If it's maize bran, but finer. If you just hear Poland, just know it's the finest. You know they have sieves in the millers companies. So the finest sieve is what they term as Poland. Could be maize bran, but it's past the smallest sieve. It's the best source of energy for pigs because you know pigs, they don't have the 4 stomachs. So they don't digest as cows and goats. So Poland is the best source of energy if we are speaking of pigs because they assimilate the same way we digest with their 1 stomach. So I've said maize bran, maize germ, maize bran, Poland. We have wheat bran. We have rice bran. Not a good source of any rice-related product is not the best source of energy, but is a good cheap source of. If you're looking at costs, any rice polish, rice Poland, you can use. So those are types of energy. If I've forgotten one, I'll remember as we go. Higher. Then for protein, we have soya, we have sunflower, we have macadamia. I'm going fast. Soya, sunflower, macadamia. We have copra. Copra is C-O-P-R-A. Copra is coconut shell. It has been milled. The coconut shell and remnants of coconut, it has been milled. It's not easily available, but if you're in the coastal areas and you can access coconut, it's a very good source of energy for cows. We have soya, cotton. We have cotton. I'm mentioning the most popular, the ones that we get here. So soya, sunflower, macadamia, copra. We have groundnuts, but not cheap at all, so we don't use it here. What else? I think those are the major ones. I've forgotten something. Esther? Those are the major ones. Soya, sunflower, macadamia, cotton. I don't see anything else. We don't use animal protein because cows, goats, they are herbivores. The way they assimilate plant protein is better than animal protein. The way you're advised, you'll rather eat animal protein over plant protein. It assimilates better in your body. But if you're doing pigs, you can use fish meal, you can use bone meal as a source of protein. Another thing, Kenya did away with animal protein for cows because the fish meal from the lakes, they were so polluted with the chemicals from plant farms, these flower farms. So what happened when you give your animals fish meal and contains these chemicals, you take the milk from the animal does not get cancer, but the cancer from the animal, it's converted to, you drink the milk and you get cancer. You wonder how people from the local areas where they don't access microwaves, how are they getting so much cancer? It's because the feeds they are feeding their animals, they have cancerogenic particles, but it does not affect the animal, it affects you indirectly. So that's why Kenya did away with fish meal and bone meal for your cows, because they were bringing a lot of cancers to the people. So those are types of proteins. Higher, let's go to salt. For salt, we make our own salt here. We call it our local salt. It has small trace elements. We have copper, we have manganese, we have magnesium, small elements that are very important. But if you're doing a small scale, it's quite expensive to make that formulation of salt because the cost is around 54,000 per ton, which doesn't make sense if you're doing small scale. So what I say, if you have calves, they are calf-related salts, ndama-related salts. Here we call them ndama-related salts. So if you're feeding calves, you go for calf-related salts. If you're doing milkers, cows that are being milked, you take milk-related salts. There are so many companies, Marklick, Excel, whatever the company, that gives you milk-related salts. So if you're doing for milkers, milk-related salts. If you're doing dry cows, a cow that was being milked, but now it's not being milked anymore, you need dry-related salts. There are dry cows, so many other companies doing all those. If you're doing for the fattening, for the bulls, there are bulls-related salts that helps to fatten the bulls. It helps with the sperm production of bulls. You go for bulls-related salts. I'm saying this if you're doing small scale, but for us, we have very specific. If we are making for a cow that's almost going to give birth, we make that one for lactating cows. If we are making for calves, we do that, but it's quite expensive if you're making small portions, okay? Am I clear? Higher. For supplements are small elements that are needed by a cow, but if you say you don't need them, it will cost you in the long run. For example, there is a trace element that's called rumacin. Rumacin is a small chemical that we put in the feeds that helps. The group I was taking you around, I told you a cow has 4 stomachs. The first one is rumen, and this rumen has small projections, microvilli. When you slaughter a cow, you find that stomach, it has the microvilli. So what happens when you feed your cow over time, the microvilli, they die, it becomes old. If you slaughter a young cow and you slaughter an old cow, you can tell just by looking at the stomach. The one that is very rough, you know this is a young cow. But if you find one that's almost smooth, if you find a really old cow and you check its first stomach, it's almost smooth. You can't tell the projections were there. So they go and die over time. So rumacin is an element that is used to generate these small papillae, those microvilli, which helps. The cow has eaten dairy meal, it takes that dairy meal and converts it to milk. So if you're not putting something that makes them generate the small microvilli as they grow old, you'll have an old cow, you're feeding it everything well, but no milk production because it cannot take the nutrients and convert them to the milk. Also, we have something like gold yeast. It doesn't have to be called gold yeast. You can just use any animal yeast. Yeast is very important, especially if you're feeding dry matter, because this dry matter needs to be digested. So you have to have a probiotic in your food that helps break down the feeds. So yeast is very important in your feeds. Another one is toxin binder. When you're doing this mixing, the feeds, you could buy maize germ from, before transporting it from Uganda to Kenya, it grows molds in the transportation because it was rained on, the heat problems. So it grows molds, it grows algae. So you need something that you put in the feeds that traps these toxins. As I said, some people are feeding this, you feed your maize germ, you find it has no problem, but it has carcinogenic elements. So you need a toxin binder that traps these bad things in the feeds and excretes them as urea, okay? So toxin binder is another supplement that is really important. You don't have to overlook it. So rumacin, gold yeast, toxin binder. Have I left anything? Those are the three main. If I remember something else, I'll tell you. Gold yeast. It doesn't, gold. Doesn't have to be gold yeast. G-O-L-D, and then yeast. Yeast is Y-E-A-S-T. Yeast, gold yeast. There are people that feed machicha. Have you met machicha? How do you say machicha? Yeah. If you have machicha, you don't need that yeast. There is a time we had machicha. I know you've seen it here. But currently, the production of the brewery is low, so we don't have machicha. So we are using yeast in our feeds. For salts, I've forgotten something else. The general salts.
If you have machicha, you don't need the gold yeast.
You don't need. For salts, I've forgotten something. There's general salts like DCP. DCP is the calcium phosphate. That one has calcium and phosphorus. There are copper salts. Copper salt is very important because of someone was telling me their cow, the fur is turning brown, a Frisian, but the fur is turning brown. Now that you know is your cow is lacking copper. Copper is responsible for the skin of a cow. If you find you've dewormed your cow, but the fur is still looking funny, know that is copper that is not present in your feeds. There is iron. Iron is very important, especially for cows that are going to calve and those that are pregnant because of blood. You know, they lose blood during calving. So you need to put supplements that have iron. What else? You have lime. Lime is responsible for pH balance. You find your cow is eating, but it keeps returning the big chunks of grass in the mouth. That's normal for a cow, but some, they spit. You've found that. You go where your cow is sleeping and you find whatever you fed it, it has spit in the beddings. You've seen that is imbalance of pH. Basically, there is a lot of acidity in the stomach that is not allowing it to digest well. So it's going and instead of chewing and going back, now it is removing it completely. So that is lime. You can find it as limestone. We also have magadi. Magadi is basically sodium chloride, which is responsible for the thyroid glands. You find your cow, they are feeding well, but their joints, they become swollen, the neck here. It's because the thyroid glands are not well balanced. So those are general salts. So far, any question?
So all these ones are supplements?
No, these are salts. I've divided energy, protein, salts, and rumacin. Higher. Now we go back to proportions. That's your question. Now we are back there. Higher. When I say, for example, in energy, you have maize germ, maize bran, pollen, wheat bran, rice bran, rice polish. You cannot have access to all those products. It will be very expensive. So for energy, we say have a minimum of 2. Don't rely on one, maybe maize germ, it will disappoint you. At least have maize germ and something else. If you have maize germ, you can mix it with wheat bran because maize germ is quite expensive. You look for a cheaper source of protein, of energy. So for energy, we say have a minimum of 2. You can pick maize germ and maize bran, pick maize germ and pollen, pick wheat bran and whatever you have access to. Don't go, next year you might come here and I tell you, now currently we are using wheat bran and wheat pollen. Then you say, but you said you can use maize bran. It depends on the season. Currently, for example, now, maize germ in your area is very cheap. So we have so much of it in the store. We are using a lot of maize germ and pollen from your side. So those two is what we are using currently in high amounts. Another season you will find pollen is not available. What we are getting access to is wheat bran. So we use whatever is accessible within the season, yes?
You've not talked of silage. What is it for?
Bado. Now we are speaking of dairy meal. Unga. We are basically making the dairy meal. This is only dairy meal. Sasa from here we'll speak about other sources of feeds, okay? Haya, we finish with this one first. Haya, then for protein we say at least have one. You can have soya, you can have canola, but don't have too many of them. Too much protein causes discomfort in the stomach. If you're doing 3 proteins, it's a problem. At least 1 or 2. You can mix soya and sunflower, cotton and sunflower, whatever the mixtures. But don't use too much of it. That you have cotton, you have macadamia, you will have a lot of discomfort. It's like eating eggs, you eat beans, you eat all those types of protein at once, it becomes a problem. But if you pick 2 proteins for yourself, see, it's okay. Yeah. So for salt, if it's a cow that is being milked, you work on your calcium, you work on your phosphorus, you work on your iron, you work on your magadi. That's a cow that's been milked. If it's a calf, you work on phosphorus, you work on calcium, you work on magnesium. Now I'm saying for salt, you have to look what category of animal you're looking for. If it's a calf, you know I need magnesium for growth of bones and strong bones. You need vitamins for a young calf. If it's a cow that is pregnant, you need phosphorus, you need calcium, you need iron. So each group of cow, different requirements of salts. I know you'll ask, why didn't you see salt blocks in the shed? Maybe in other farms in Githunguri, you will find them, they have hung their salts. Here it's not practical because we have so many cows. If you did a salt block for every shed, you will require so many of it. So what we do is if it's copper, we mix it in the feeds and give it in the dairy meal. So you don't need again to hang a salt block about copper. If it's iron, we cater for that in the feeds, okay? Higher. If it's supplements, if you mix the rumacin, you mix the goldist and toxin binder. Now let me give you the ratios. Higher. If it's a milker, a cow that's been milked, we make 3 types of dairy meal here. We make milkers, we make non-milkers, we make calves. And sometimes if we have so many dry cows, meaning those that are in calf, we make in calf mixers. But sometimes the one that you're giving milkers can equally be used by the pregnant cows because it's well mixed, okay? So for example, it's milkers we are making. You ensure the energy ratio is between 70 to 80%. When I say 70 to 80%, when I say 70 to 80%, milkers, when I say 70 to 80%, 70 to 80% of what you're making. For example, here I'm making 1 ton. So in 1 ton, when I say 70%, will be 700 kgs. If I say 80% will be 800 kgs. If you're making 100 kgs, if I say 70% will be 70 kgs of energy. Okay, maybe you're making 100 kgs of your dairy meal. So when I say 70% and you have maize germ and wheat bran, you will take, for example, 50 kgs maize germ and 20 kgs wheat bran. You already get your 70%. Are you getting? Higher. Then you add protein. Protein should be between 15 to 21%. Should not go past 21. If you put past 21 kgs, that's too much protein for a cow that does not need, and also very expensive. Protein is quite expensive. So if I say 15 to 21%, you already took your 70%, okay? So 70% is energy. You add, let's say, 18% of protein. You already have 88%. Higher, what is left is 12%. The 12%, you put 2% of it as supplements. What is left is 10%. What is going to add is salt, which is, so you get your 100%. Yes, 10% of your feed, between 8 to 10 should be salt. Then supplements 1 to 2%. Anything above 2% is 1 to 2%. For supplements is 1 to 2%, and for salt is between 8 to 10%. Anything above 2% for supplements, your feed is quite expensive because toxin binder is quite expensive, gold yeast is quite expensive, rumacin is quite expensive. Are we going together? For non-milkers, this is a cow that's not being milked. Now that goes from any calf above 4 months to any cow above 14 months. When it's at 14 months for the Fresians, I don't know if your group leaders told you, but we serve our cows from 14 to 15 months for Fresians. For Ushers, we do from 15 to 16 months. For Jerseys, we do from 17 to 18 months. Jerseys at 22 months, which is quite old, but the longer we wait, the better the results, because the semen that's in the market for the Jersey is quite big. So if you serve your Jersey when it's still quite small and has not attained the cages, you have a problem during calving, okay? So when I say for the non-milkers, you have to have a cheap source of energy, number one, because this cow you're not milking, but you still need it to grow fast. So you look for a cheap source of energy. You can't be using maize germ for a non-milker. It's quite expensive and you're not getting any money for it. Maybe for 10 months you will still be feeding this cow without getting any benefit. But once it becomes in calf, you can give the good source of energy. So for non-milkers, you can give around 60 to 70% as energy, a very cheap source of energy. And then for the protein, you can give between 14 to 16%. That's quite fair. Higher for the salts. Non-milkers. Between 60 to 70%. Protein between 14 to 16%. Salt, when you reduce the energy, the salt should be more, because you know the heifers, they're developing. You need a lot of salts for joto, for making them come on heat. I don't know how to say it in Uganda. You have salts that make cows come on heat, sindio? You've seen them in the agrovets. So you need a lot of salt to make this cow come on heat fast. So the percentage of salt will be between 8 to 12% to make sure you get 100%. Then supplement, you retain it at 1 to 2%. Okay? Have you gotten? Higher for the calves, yeah?
Sometimes they always tell us to, for the salt that we give ad-libs, the market, that we just give ad-lib.
Salt. It's quite expensive. When you do ad-lib, it's quite expensive. Plus, too much salt, you know, it's like the same for you. If you do too much salt, excess salt is not good for your body. And less salt is not, you just have to have balance. Too much salt is not necessary for the body, and too less is not sufficient for your body. So you have to be within the standard. 8 to 10% of your feed should be salt. Too much of it is not necessary, and it's quite expensive. Don't do ad-lib with salt. Yes? Any other question? For the calves, make sure the protein is high. Calves, you could give protein from 18 to 25%, because the more the protein, the energy for calves. Now, let's start with protein. Why? If you're giving 18 to 25%, if I choose to do 25%, what is left is 75. Higher. From the 75%, remove 10 kgs, 10% of it to be salt. What is left is 65. Remove 2% of it to be supplements. What is left is 63. Okay, let's start. Energy, give between 60 to 70%. Don't go with, Rose said 63%. Go with, you've already known you need energy, you've already known you need protein, you've already known you need salt, you already know you need supplements. If I tell you do 71, don't go Rose said do 71 and doesn't favor your pocket. So I am giving you the ranges. Don't go below 60%, don't go be above 70, just be within the range. If you find your cost is higher, you just adjust as long as you get your 100%. My 60 to 70 could be convenient to me, but not convenient for your pocket. So work within your limits. As long as you've known what am I looking at here? I need an energy source, I need a protein source, I need supplements, and I need salts. So for calves, you can give 60 to 70% of it to be energy, protein between 18 to 25% of it, and then salt be within the range 8 to 10%, then supplement 1 to 2%. I'm sure that will give you 100% if you balance it well, okay? So, let's go to the how we dispense them. That was your next question. How will you know how much dairy meal will I give a calf? We start
with the supplements. To mix the 3 categories, or you select one?
All three. One cannot act as another. They all act differently for different reasons. Okay? Higher. For here we start giving dairy meal to calves from 1 to 2 months. But we just give a handful for them to taste palatability. They start developing interest in dairy meal. We don't give too much of it. There we don't even actually calculate. Some calves are quick to take the dairy meal. Some calves don't take the dairy meal as fast. When you give too much dairy meal at the start of your calves, sometimes you think your calf is growing fast, but it's because you're giving too much of the protein, of the energy and protein, but you're not balancing with milk. Another thing, when you're giving milk and you give too much dairy meal, does not go well. I don't know if you understand. You know, milk has calcium. So if you're giving this energy-based products and protein to a really young calf that has not developed well, it develops some issues, digestion. Some have constipation, some have diarrhea. So just give a handful just for palatability, because they are still drinking milk and they can live off milk easily. But we just want to introduce them to feeding. But weaning starts at 3 months. Fully now, when it's really relying on dairy meal, it's at 3 months. So from 3 months, we give a handful. The first week, just a handful, but from there, we start giving 750 grams from 3 months. Then it will take 3 months to 4 months, 750 grams. From 4 months, it takes 750 grams per feeding. And it will feed twice, 3 months to 4 months, assessed according to results. Okay, we gave you the AI, what are your results? So any vet that's not doing 80% of them conceiving has to go, regardless of how good how he or she is not doing. The results are not there. So 80% of your work as the veterinary you have to prove. This month you gave 40 cows, how many have conceived? That's how we.
Just a second.
So another thing, if the veterinary is doing it right and following all the steps he should, the 80% of her or his herd should conceive. Number 2, avoid giving too much fat in your feeds, because the fatter the cow, the harder it becomes to conceive. The regions of reproduction, they become clogged with the fat and cannot conceive. So you will find most of our cows are not big. We have very lean cows, not too big, not too small. Another thing is timing. You hear every person has their shed. So you've seen there are many sheds. We are about 60 people in the farm. You have to have 2 sheds under your observation. So if I give you shed number 4 and shed number 5, if a cow comes on heat and you have not reported, you will need to answer to me. Why aren't you keen? So when you make your people, they are aware, I have to report. Before leaving, we have a WhatsApp group. You have to tell me, my cows, they are 14, and in the 14 of them, 2 they came on heat. Then you have to follow up. Were they served? You also have to write. The veterinary has the record, but also you, who is looking after the 14 cows, you have to tell me, this cow number 202, how was it served? I saw it came on heat at 2 a.m. So when should it be served? It should be served in the evening, p.m. You observe the 12 hours mark. So the people at night, before they leave, we have a group that comes at night. They tell you, this cow's in shed number 37, this cow was on heat. So you try and they come and report. So if they report they saw heat at 11 a.m., you will serve it at 11 p.m. So observing time is also another factor. There are cows that have silent heat. I've said we have steer bulls, the bulls you saw there. The bulls, we open for it. It roams around. It helps detect the heifers that come on silent heat. You could have a cow, you have never seen it mounted on, but it comes on heat. So we make sure our bulls, they go moving around, they help you detect those that come on silent heat. Also, if you serve a cow the first time, the second time, the third time with AI and it doesn't conceive, we use bull. If it doesn't conceive with the bull with the fourth time, we have to cull that cow because it's going to add losses to the farm. Yeah. So those are the major ones. But mostly what makes AI not successful is the people in the farm. Me, if there is something I don't compromise is reporting. The person I put in charge of those sheds, you have to report. Did you see any cow? Also, I'm moving around, but I put people to observe. Just give you two sheds, maximum 30 cows. The person who has the most cows has 40 cows. Others are just observing 10 cows, but I need report on each cow. If I come find a sick cow and you have not reported, where have you been? You should have seen the person cleaning there, the person feeding there. So the way Mzee has said, there is no, we penalize. Here we work on penalties, and that's the only way people hear. If you don't say I'll penalize, if you don't report it's on heat, you don't report it's sick, you have to leave. So that works here. If you don't work with penalties, these people will just sleep on their job. Yeah. Also, we have machines for AI. I can share pictures.
I'll allow just this last question, please. We just need to.
You've been talking about these, supplements and so on, contained in, maize bran and whichever category. But there are also categories that are contained in the grasses and herbaceous plants, of course at certain percentages. And I believe those are cheaper than actually going for this. Probably you may not have them here, but I guess the knowledge is there.
Yeah.
Can you share something in that line so that someone knows if I have red napier, then I'm looking at this percentage of protein
compared to this?
Compared to.
Hi, I'll speak about my farm. I'm knowledgeable about other, like the red napier, but availability here in Kenya is a problem. The napier grass in Kenya depends on the region you get it from. The one from Githunguri, the protein is poor, but energy is high. Also depends on the season you've cut the napier. So there are many factors that affect the quality of your napier, but storage here is a problem, so we don't work with napier. For the hay you've seen in the shades, if we harvest hay today, we don't feed it today because of ticks. Where we get it from is the area for Masai Mara, the Narok areas, where wildebeest are there, but that's the best type of hay. So we don't feed it immediately, it comes in the farm. So the energy levels that it comes with, whatever we feed is not the same, it goes down. But as we use hay as a filler, not necessarily until we depend energy on it. If you've done your dairy meal well, the hay you'll just use it to fill the stomachs. The energy you put, the 70% is sufficient. We have Lucerne, you'll see it in the stores, but it's quite expensive. The Lucerne we get is 84%, but a bale goes for 600 Kenya shillings, which is quite expensive. So Lucerne could be a good source of protein, but then the cost is too high. You'll rather just, if a kg of Lucerne, a bale of Lucerne is 10 kgs and you're buying 600, that tells you 1 kg is 60 bob, right? So you'll rather buy sunflower from Uganda at 21 Kenya shillings coming here. So we we prefer this milled, and there is alfalfa grass, availability is a problem, supply is a problem, so we don't use other sources. Purely we depend on dairy meal and hay. And hay is not that we depend it for energy and protein. It's just a filler at this point. Yeah.
Deal TV. Learn and earn.